great stories, and you didn't need a political lecture every time you hit play. Great entertainment still exists, it's just getting harder to find. Even the biggest streaming platforms leave audiences disappointed. That's why there's Studio TST, pure entertainment, real comedy, independent films, bold creators, movies, comedy, music, and more, and the home of fearless sketch comedy. That show tonight, entertainment the way you want it. Funny, creative, unapologetic, and agenda-free. Studio TST. The future of entertainment starts here. Join Studio TST today for just $5 a month.
Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And good Friday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a minute since we've done a full-fledged weekend news roundup, but we're back the Friday before Independence Day, and Brad Slager is rocking the hat like a boss. I'm kind of sad.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like I should be the one wearing that because, you know, Oklahoma, but I don't even own one, so it doesn't matter.
You don't even own one?
Nope.
That would
Hang on.
seem to be a requirement. I think you would need to first have one in order to don it. But
Yeah, you know, my dad's mad at me because I don't own one. But anyway, sorry, I keep trying to figure out my sliders and I keep making things worse. All right, yeah, it's been a day. So yeah, sorry for the late start, ladies and gentlemen. We were having some technical issues. I was trying to do fancy things and trying to do, you know, back-to-back broadcast from the same computer. And yeah, that's not as easy as you would think. However, I should probably remember that I do have a second seat access to Jeff's other service that we use. So I could probably do that one over there or do this one over there and then just swap between the two really quickly. So I probably need to start working on that for next week. Anyway, so we're back. We're live and it's Friday. And Amy's back from Egypt and she brought a bug back with her. I don't think she meant a scarab though.
No, although I did get my son a scarab as a souvenir, but no, little digestional thing going on. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. Doctors are handling it. Just Egypt really kicked my ass. amazing trip though. I would highly recommend going. Just know it's hot and be really careful what you eat and drink, because I think I ate something and that's what got me. So
Yeah, sadly, I have not left the continent. I've been to Canada 2 or 3 times when we lived in the Seattle area, and I've been to Mexico once. And sadly, in Mexico, I was an idiot because even though I could understand Spanish and could speak it, there was a Culligan water cooler there, and I asked him if that was actually Culligan water, and he said yes. So I drank it because it was like 105 degrees. Montezuma's revenge is a bitch. Don't do that.
oh yeah, yep.
You fell
Touch
for it.
revenge. Yeah, touch revenge isn't much better, let me tell you. But
Oof.
Lessons learned.
Whatever,
This is me.
floating head of doom.
This is me waving furiously at everyone in honor of Independence Day. Yay!
yay.
Yep.
BZ's floating head of doom.
And me and Amy
Somebody-
have the day off over at Town Hall, so we can start imbibing early.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Early. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. There's no such thing as early.
Well,
It's
I
2
mean,
o'clock here. I'm 2 hours behind schedule. Let's be real. It's Wisconsin after all.
I mean, yeah, you guys like have like the most bars per capita of anywhere, I
Mhm.
think.
Who
There's
does?
literally 3 of them within walking distance of my house.
Wisconsin
Nice.
does?
Oh yeah, we have like there was a map that just went out the other day. We have an insane, like they're literally on every corner, especially in the city of Milwaukee. The first floor of a bungalow would be the bar, and then the family would live above the bar. So like every corner there's a bar, and they're all still open.
Okay,
Nice.
give me 5 seconds. Amy, this is me knocking on your door.
Yes,
Show
come
me.
in. I will take you to the best bar in Milwaukee. That is Bryant's Cocktail Lounge,
Ooh.
hands
those are
down.
Scotty bodegas.
This
Yes,
segment
they
brought
really
to
are.
you by.
Yes, Brian should definitely sponsor us because they are the best, and I will sing their praises any day of the week.
Nice. All right. So, what's on everybody's news radar for the week so far? Anything
Oh,
that you've
Lord.
seen? That's
I
piqued
still
your
feel like
interest?
I'm getting caught up with everything. But I sent this in the chat on Twitter earlier. There's that shooting at the mall in Dearborn.
Yeah,
an active
Dearborn
shooter.
stands at it again. I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so right now I don't know what the casualties are, if any, but there's a bunch of video going around on X. The day ending in Y, we can probably hazard a guess as to who the perpetrators were. But hopefully everybody is okay. Let me see if there's anything else.
I looked about 10 minutes ago and I couldn't find any information other than, yeah, there was a shooting, okay, fine.
Well, I'm
Well, you
just
know what
rather
we-
enjoying all the media who are getting upset about America's birthday. It's
Right?
just been just a pleasure to watch these idiots. I saw Scott Jennings. I covered this in my column yesterday. Scott Jennings is on with Anderson Cooper,
Oh, wow.
and he was talking about how there's basically, he calls it a patriotism gap, which I thought was a great read on his part because of how Democrats and the press are just so anti-patriotism right now. Anderson Cooper can't believe this. Oh, come on. I haven't seen this. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the poll that you had on CNN, Andy, showing that very thing taking place. And there was whose show was just this week talking about all of the racial hatred and intolerance in the Declaration of Independence. Again, on CNN, Anderson. So he's oblivious to what's being broadcast on his own network, apparently. Which
Well,
is
you
par
know.
for the course.
They don't listen to anybody else anyway. They're too busy listening to the voices inside their head. So that doesn't
Right. And I love this. I don't see it happening. Therefore, it's not happening. They do this all the time. I'm going to look out my window and there's no crime. Like I'm looking out my window right now. It's not raining here. That means it's not raining anywhere. That's the same mentality they've got. I don't see it, so it's not happening. You're supposed to be a journalist, Anderson Cooper. Go talk to people.
I think you just described the bubble.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. The
My
bubble.
insulated environment. I don't see any bad stuff. Ergo,
Yeah. Nothing bad is happening. Okay.
Or the Tom Hanks 800 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they weren't happy about that either. I thought that was
No.
I mean, when it comes to politics, I'm not a huge Tom Hanks fan, but I thought that was a rather appropriate.
It was amusing.
response.
Hey,
Yes, it
everybody
was.
says it's blazing hot in DC. They shut the National Mall down, blah blah. Literally every article, all three of them that I've looked at so far trying to find out, hasn't indicated or specified any kind of a temperature. So again, with journalists, oh, it's so hot. How hot? Oh, we're not going to tell you. We're going to avoid that. How hot? Well, we're not going to. Not one story. So my question is, how hot is it in DC right now?
I looked it up while you were talking. Right now, according to Google, it's 101 degrees.
Oh,
So-
please.
Is it hot? Yes. Is it survivable?
Yes.
It was 117 in Abu Simbel. You'll be fine.
It was 117. It's been 117 in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was a little twerk
Mm-hmm.
in the 50s, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
God, suck it up, people.
It's summer. It gets hot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Europe
right.
is in the process of melting down right now because they have temperatures in the, oh my God, 90s.
Right.
Well,
Right.
what's really funny? What's really funny is watching the folks that have been over here with all the air conditioning starting to process to go back home for those that are already got a World Cup. And they're like, oh my God, it's so much hotter over here. Yeah. Anyway, but no, I mean, it's just one of those things where, we are not made of stern stuff anymore. And I find it kind of amusing because I didn't hear that they had actually shut I knew that I guess it was Pennsylvania that one of the cities in Pennsylvania decided not to do their parade today because it was so hot. I hadn't heard that they shut them all down.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that either, but
Yeah. It's true.
But yeah,
Well-
101 in DC when it's swamp is probably kind of gross. Just saying. Let's not forget that is swampland, technically speaking. So yeah, it's probably kind of gross when it's that hot. I'm not gonna lie. But
Yeah, I found
humidity's
this-
probably off the charts. So it probably feels a lot like Alabama when it gets that hot, I would assume.
Well,
So,
I
yeah,
live
I
half a
can-
mile from the Everglades, so I'm not exactly impressed with what they're going through. I mean, we're down here used to having 95 with matching humidity, and then you get that flash rainstorm for 15 minutes, and then the sun comes back. So you get that nice percolation of steam coming up.
Well, I mean, that's like when I moved to Seattle and, first time it cracked 90, kids were outside like fainting. And these are the same kids that laughed their ass off at me the first time I went and jumped in a lake, not thinking, hey, this is mountain runoff, dumbass. Yeah, that was fun. I just went and dove in like off the dock like I'd always done here, thinking, oh, I'll be fine. Dude, somebody had to pull me back out of the water because I like went into shock when I hit it. It was terrible.
oh wow,
But
yeah.
those kids were all laughing at me, and then I'm just looking at them going, you're fainting, and it's like 90 degrees. They're like, shut up, it's hot. It's 90 degrees in December where I'm from. What the hell? Anyway. But yeah, no, I mean, as we're starting to talk about some of this stuff, that is one of the things that has driven me the most crazy about this news cycle is the fact that I said this on the show earlier. Look, even if you're pissed off about America right now, because you can't be happy about America because of the guy who's in charge, can you not at least be proud to live in your particular state? Like there's 11 governors who said, no, we're not even going to participate in the Washington Fair stuff. We're just not even going to show up. And I'm just like, can you not even just be proud of your own state? That's just it. That's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats are only happy when their side is in charge and they're getting everything that they want. As far as, that's when they feel like they can be patriotic. Like I heard Jessica Tarlov the other day throwing up, well, the last time we did a convention, there were more flags at our convention than there were at yours. Really? That's your benchmark? You know?
That's setting the bar really low.
Especially when
That's the
half your
party
crowd
that
either
talks
wants to
about it.
burn it or use it as a napkin, but you're happy, you're proud there were more flags there. You don't even like the American flag.
Their party's the one that says our flag is oppressive, take it down because you're
Right.
offending.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a
In
symbol
America.
of oppression and colonization. Take it down. Okay.
But yeah, when it's your side flying, oh, it's awesome. Look, there's more American flags at the Democratic convention than there were at the Republican one. Yeah, it's because you guys did the most un-American thing ever and basically said, yep, she's nominated. You didn't nominate anybody, you coronated her.
Right. So much democracy on that side of the aisle. Okay.
Well, and that's exactly why the socialists are winning now, because they've watched their party then keep in mind, this is the same party that for the last 20 years has been 30 years has been the one saying how terrible America is and how everything is broken. Hell, you heard it from Mom Donnie today.
Yep.
This isn't about American exceptionalism. This is about American supremacy. Blah 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 blah. Like, shut up.
Right. Yeah, it is about American supremacy because we are the best country on the face of the planet. And if you don't like it, go back to Uganda where you've got a freaking compound with armed guards. You hypocritical sack of human excrement.
I mean, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. I mean, I watched the speech and I didn't even make it all the way. I tried to play the whole thing on my show. I made it about halfway through. I was like, I can't do this anymore. But I love the opening of the show because it wasn't my fellow New Yorkers. It was my fellow Americans. What, are you auditioning for something, jackass?
Right. No, yeah, he's there. Oh, we need to change the Constitution so he can become president. No. That's the biggest no in the history of no's.
Well, did you see Donnie Deutsch when he was on MS Now and he was trying to give a cautionary tale to Democrats that this embracing of the DSA to this extent, got to be careful because the Republicans are going to use that. They're going to start saying you guys are socialist and communist. It's like, well, two things, Donnie. They are. Sorry. I mean, talk to the DSA leaders and they say communism is their ultimate goal. And secondly, I'm sure I'm familiar with what you're talking about, given how many years we've been called fascists, Nazis, pedophiles. I mean, yeah, how dare somebody come up with a label for your entire party like that? So there's a bunch of Democrats right now kind of grinding their hands, wondering what they should do with this new development.
Their choice is to either remove the radicals from the party or metaphorically, they're going to be the ones lined up on the wall next because the socialists have made it very clear. We are going to gut the Democratic Party and use it as a skin suit to advance our agenda. They hadn't even won all of the races in New York, and they were already chanting, "You're next," to Hakeem Jeffries. Every single Democrat that's currently serving is a target. And if they want to preserve their careers, and I have no love for the Democrats. I don't really care what happens to them, but I do care about these radical socialists taking over the party. They are going to remove you from office. They are going to destroy your career. And if you're lucky, you'll die a natural death before they actually do get around to shooting the rest of us, because that's how these revolutions always go. Always. Look at the Reign of Terror, where they were beheading hundreds of people a week because they were radicals and threat to the revolution. History may not repeat itself, but as Benjamin Franklin, I think it was, says, or no, excuse me, Mark Twain, it sure does rhyme.
Well, criminality taught me one thing, and it's BZ's thug law, and it applies to all these asswipes. And it's this: thug's law is what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine, unless you're strong enough to stop me. And it's true with muzzies, it's true with commies, and it's true with leftists. They're going to do what they can do as long as they don't care about the law. That's absolutely immaterial. They're going to do what they will when they wish until someone stops them. Now, either by law or physically. And like Rick said earlier today, I vacillate on this too. Every day, almost every hour. You know what? We need a good civil war. No, we really don't. Yes, we do. Because otherwise, this is not going to change. There's only one thing that people respect: blood in the streets. What did we see in 2020? Oh, BZ, you're going way over the top. Way over the top. We don't need this. Imagine everybody getting involved in this. Well, what percentile of people overthrew Britain? What percentile of people voted in communists? Well, let's see, about 11% in New York City. So it doesn't take much. Civil war? No. Civil war? No. What do you guys think? No, that's way over the top, right? Or is it unavoidable?
They're making it unavoidable, basically, because they just think that if they get the votes like this, that they have a complete mandate, and so they're going to enforce everything. Meanwhile, the media is denying this is going on. I mean, I've seen Caitlin Collins and a laundry list of journalists insisting that the DSA, no, it's not about communism.
Right.
I heard them. Their leadership has said it's about communism.
Yeah. Our end goal is communism.
And the journalists are denying what's being said directly.
Right. But again, like the other Democrats, hoping to be sacrificed last.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the Pastor Niemöller poem.
What was that, BG?
The Pastor Niemöller poem. To whom does it not apply now?
Well, yeah.
Right.
For those of you who may not know what he's talking about, that's the one where, first they came for the Jews and I wasn't a Jew, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, the question is, who are they coming for now? And they've already told you. And, Amy, you made a great point earlier, about the fact that, and this is just after Mondami won and then the first domino fell after that. All of a sudden, the DSA starts calling New York the commie corridor. That came out of nowhere. I hadn't heard anybody referring to it that way before until now. Now it's the commie corridor. But here's the thing. The thing is, you've got Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries playing this down like it's no big deal. This was a huge deal. Nobody on their side is talking about this. Well, these were low turnout primaries, but you're missing the point. Both of your leadership in both parts of Congress is from the state where the commies just took most of it over. That, trust me, there's a reason they made their big push there first, and it was a message directly to the Democrats. We're coming for you. We want what you have. You're not going to just use us as your messaging arm anymore, or your folks that go march in the streets. We want a seat at the table. Not only that, but we want the whole fucking table. And at this point, I as much as I'm not sure if it's too late for the entire country yet, I almost feel like it's too late for the Democratic Party, because the thing about it is, it's the awfuls and the terrible white people that are pushing this. All the affluent whites are the ones that are voting for this. In New York, there was almost nobody showing up for the Democrats. In cities that had millions of people in them, like thousands of people were voting. So that's a problem for one. But the other part of it is these people that keep claiming they're for the working class and they're for the disenfranchised, those aren't the people voting for them. You know who's voting for them? Educated white people. Because that's what they've been told is America is terrible. America is awful. It has to be changed from the inside out. And they've been indoctrinating our children with this now for decades. And it was starting when my kids were little. It was actually probably starting before then, but I don't think I really noticed it as much until I had my own kids. And that's why my kids hated me for the longest time, because I would give them civics homework because they weren't being taught civics in school. And they hated me for it. But now every single one of them has come back to me years later and said, as much as I used to scream at you for making me read the Constitution and learn to be able to read cursive even if I didn't write it, and to understand this and understand that, I hated it at the time, but now I'm glad you did, because everybody that I talk to is fucking retarded.
Yep. No, absolutely. And I had a good point. Somebody else chime in, because now train of thought completely derailed. But
well, I got one going into high school right now, so I'm trying to get my talents into him. I've got him his own civics books and such to study, his own pocket constitution. So it's like when I hear about the homework in that department, it's like, bring it over. That's my area. Mom gets math.
I'm going to be homeschooling my youngest next year for 8th grade for a variety of reasons. And we're going to do that too. There's going to be heavy emphasis on the civics starting now, and getting ahead of all this indoctrination. No, I remember what I was going to say. Your point about the white affluent people supporting the commies. Yeah, in New York, the middle and lower class, working class, broke heavily for Cuomo. They did not support Mamdani. In Maine, Susan Collins is up 21 points with non-college educated voters. They are not the party of the working class. The working class has their finger on the pulse of what this means for them. So
why do people not listen or understand what these pieces of filth are telling us all to our faces. Muslims and communists. I'll say it out loud. I still have podcasters and people that I know saying, oh, well, they're just moderate Muslims. And to which I reply, A, there is no such thing as a moderate Muslim. They're either those who are doing it improperly, or they just don't have the courage to commit the violence aspect of it all, and or the communists. Why won't you listen to what they're saying in spraying spittle directly onto your face? What part? Oh, no, they don't really mean that. That's not what they meant. That's not what they're saying. That's exactly what they mean. That's exactly what they're saying. And like my show last night, they're counting on America being ignorant and stupid. So until you believe what they're saying, you are, the bulk of Americans, ignorant and stupid.
And
Where am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And that's not a new thing. Years ago, like I'm talking, oh gosh, after I graduated from college, so going on 20 years now, I worked with a woman who, these Russians and these Cubans who tell us that the Democrats are instituting communism. They don't know what they're talking about, and the Democrats aren't doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, these people came from communist countries. What happened to respecting their lived experience, tolerant leftist? They're telling you exactly what the Democrats are going to do. And look, oh my gosh, the Democrats have actually done what these people warned us they were going to do. Funny on that.
Well, you know what? Actually, we have a solution here. We can use their own terminology against them and just say that if they're going to institute communism, they're appropriating Russian culture. And that's wrong.
Right. Well, but Russia's the bad guy right now. So,
but I mean, look at what they've done with who they're choosing. I mean, it is the very people bitching about elitism have elected elites, because look at what's her name? Dara Liza that they just put in. She's like a career student. She's never had private sector work at all. She's got 17 years, they said, of secondary education, 7 years working on her master's for some useless degree. And now she's going into politics directly from school.
Right. And she's going to get into trading stocks and make a fortune while taking money from the rest of us. Like that's exactly how this is going to play out.
While demonizing capitalism.
Right. While demonizing of course, because capitalism is for them and not the rest of us.
Well, for all you folks that are like getting happy because socialism's on the march, if you want to get a look at your future, just look at what's happening in New York City right now. They're telling people they can't have their thermostats below 78 degrees, even though it's like triple digits. They're shutting off escalators in common spaces because they're afraid of brownouts. I thought it would take more than a few months for New York City to experience full-on communism, but I guess not.
Right, because improving the electrical grid by doing things like, I don't know, building nuclear power plants and using natural gas and using, yes, heaven forbid, coal. That's not on their thing. We have to reduce your quality of life. But somebody, I don't know if it was a New York Post or somebody else, went to City Hall. It's 63 degrees in City Hall. And I bet you if we saw this thermostat in Gracie Mansion, it would not be set at 78. I would bet you my next paycheck on that one.
Well, Ben Ferguson lit up Abby Phillip on CNN last night because Abby thought it was a fantastic idea. And he's like, it's not even 78 in here. He's like, what are you going to sit there and support them with your own actions? But all of this gets unwound by, again, it's their own testimony. Gavin came out, and he too is coming up with the 78-degree figure for California because of the grid. In New York City, well, New York State, actually, they just voted to support the ban on gas stoves in your home, which, by the way, they denied was the case. Everybody that mentioned it was a conspiracy nut. I remember covering that extensively. So if you can't have a gas stove, that means you basically have to have electric. While they're saying don't use so much electricity. In California, you got Gavin saying the same thing while pushing people on electric vehicles. Make it make sense.
Is staggering. Brad, you mentioned that we're being ruled by the elite. In Russian terms, all the elites in Russia had their dachas, while hundreds and hundreds of people waited in Russia online for a crust of bread.
Right.
I was talking last night about Ro Khanna. Oh, Ro Khanna rails against millionaires and billionaires. And then the Washington Free Beacon said, hey, guess what? Let's examine Ro Khanna. Dude is in a $6 million DC mansion with its own 4-story elevator, while his family's $340 million plus fortune sits in trusts and hedge funds and LLCs, the exact same things that he condemns. And he doesn't want Congress, insider trading, that's so bad. His kids, under 10, hold stakes in 3 private golf clubs, $68 billion of wealth in a firm, and a distressed debt hedge fund, and wifey drives around in a $190,000 Range Rover. No problem. No hypocrisy there.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I live in a mobile home where the pipes freeze in the winter. I have to give more of my money because I'm just greedy. Okay. Sure,
I mean,
bro, whatever
you are
you
greedy,
say.
but that's beside the point. You're a greedy American, so we
I
already
am
knew
agree.
that.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, so back to this whole socialism thing. This is one of the things that I don't think a lot of folks are really thinking about from the other side of the argument. And this is, I pulled this data from a town hall piece. Not one of ours. I don't remember who wrote it. It may have been Red State, actually. Yeah, it looks like it was Red State. Looks like it was, I want to give credit where credit's due, Becky Noble. I pulled the poll data out because I didn't want to go through the whole article. So this is a recent Pew poll that just came out with all Democrats / Democratic leaners who like the idea of Democratic Socialists being in charge or being their candidate. 32% like Liberal Democrats by themselves. 52% of them like it. Conservative or moderate Democrats, if there is such a thing anymore, apparently 17% of them like the idea. Here's the other thing, though. Among all Democrats, 56% either like or neither like nor dislike, which means they're indifferent to the idea, which means they don't care. So you take those two, you take the 32% and the 56%, and you figure probably half of that 56% is going to break for the socialists. So that's what, 28% plus another 32. So that's like right at 50%. Even
you're talking Democrats, though, they have a hesitancy to make any kind of firm stand on stuff like this. Well, I can't come out against it because that would be insensitive towards socialists, so they have to basically be agnostic about it while their whole party embraces it as a result. Mm-hmm. It's just their modus.
I mean, it's just insane to me because, the leaders don't want to say anything against it. You've got Schumer talking about all we're worried about is uniting to beat Trump, which is insane because, as I've said on multiple shows, they've pretty much already done that anyway, because the only thing he's really been able to do is pass the big, beautiful bill, and everything else has been done through executive order because our own fucking side is spineless and doesn't want to rock the boat because, as I've said before, it's like we keep acting like we're the kid brother to the Democratic Party and we're still chasing them around seeking approval or some crap when they've been taken over by the socialists, and we're still doing the Rodney King line. Can't we all just get along? No, we can't because they want us dead.
They're right now saying, we're a big tent party and we have room for all kinds of ideas and thoughts. And so communism is acceptable in your tent as long as you're against Trump.
Right.
That's their predicate to everything. The litmus test is Trump first.
Here's the thing. When they start talking about a big tent party, what they really mean is the concept of communism makes them pitch a tent. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aided and abetted by all the black-robed anarchist judges as well. I had a constitutional scholar on, and he was talking as Stephen Hall did. I don't know if he's in the chat or not. Essentially, when I spoke to him on inquiry, Stephen said, district judges may rule within their own district, but truthfully, they don't have the strength to ensure that gets applied nationwide. My constitutional scholar this past Tuesday said the same thing. And again, it gets back to Thug's law. Sooner or later, we're going to have to draw a line. and say, just like California did after SCOTUS rules on trannies, and California says, no, screw you. We're going to do what we're going to do when we're going to do it. Sanctuary states and cities have said that for decades. So maybe it's time for some pushback, or maybe it's time for civil war. I think I'm done fooling around with this. I almost said the F word. But it's,
go ahead. We're not FCC regulated. I say it all the time.
It's time to, you know what? You talk about the kids. And to this one particular podcaster, I said, okay, well, guess what you've just done by saying that, I equivocate on this a little bit. You love your kids. You've just doomed your kids and your grandkids and their kids to a future of either muzzies or commies. You take your pick, because sooner or later, the muzzies or the commies are going to be picking over the bones of the United States of America. Nobody's interested in saying this. Oh, heresy, BZ, heresy. Okay, show me the clear alternative, and I'll listen.
Right.
I've been listening for 76 years. I'm not hearing. I hear complaints.
Have you checked
That's
your hearing?
all I hear. If it's for the children, then get your fucking act in gear, kids, and start pushing back on some of this stuff.
You know, speaking of not hearing after 76 years, have you checked your hearing aid batteries? Just kidding.
I don't have hearing aids.
I know. That's why I made the joke. I know you did.
I know.
Anyway.
And after having cut my hair, if I wore them, you'd see them.
Nice. Wait, you actually cut your hair? I didn't notice the last time I saw you on camera.
Really?
But yeah.
Son of a gun. I still have a beard, though.
Oh, but yeah, so Andrew has brought up one of the stories that I wanted to talk about. So I didn't find this out until a few days ago because I'd been sick for a while anyway, so I hadn't really been paying that much attention. I know, again. This one wasn't my fault, though. I think one of my grandkids, when I went to the birthday party at the lake, I think had something, and I'm better now after the second round of antibiotics, but my voice is still meh. But yeah, so I woke up today. I was like, dude, I actually feel really good. I wish my voice sounded as good as I feel.
Voice sounds great.
It doesn't. It sounds weird in my head, but anyway, it usually does that anyway. But no, I mean, but back to this whole thing. McConnell has apparently been in the hospital now for like 3 weeks. Everybody's like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to weekend at Bernie his ass because the governor's a Democrat. That's what they're going to do. There's no way they're going to let a Democratic governor appoint somebody into that seat. So if they have to, they're going to weekend at Bernie's his ass until they can figure something else out.
Speaking purely speculatively, because I have no insider knowledge, but if what TMZ and other outlets have reported is true, that he was found unconscious and it was a cardiac arrest, the guy is 84 years old. He's not working on anything from the hospital. If you have to do CPR on somebody, pretty much every rib in his chest is broken. He is going to be in severe pain if he's awake at all. At all. Like, don't get me wrong, I have issues with McConnell, but he did a lot of really good things, and he really set the Republican Party up. Like, the best thing he ever did was keep Merrick Garland off the Supreme Court. For that, I will be forever thankful. But the reality is, what they're telling us about his condition, I don't believe it. I've seen it too many times to go, yeah, he's fine, or he'll be fine. He's not. He's not. And I think you're onto something there, because there's no way he bounced back from a cardiac arrest as they're reporting it right now. Just not. Like, a normal, healthy person would have a hard time coming back from a cardiac arrest like that. An 84-year-old man who clearly had other health issues going into this, nope.
See, it reminds me of Monty Python. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. And the guy in the cart leaps up and says, I feel happy. No, you don't. Lay back down.
We actually had that as a running bit on the morning show when we first started it during COVID. That was, dude, that was a weird time to be alive, because we were like watching and listening to stuff coming from other countries, and there was actually a clip we played one morning where there were people in other countries that were swearing people that had COVID were coming back to life. And I'm like, oh my God, is this really about to turn into fucking Walking?
Jeez.
Alan Ray is killing me in chat. That's,
Yeah, he
that's
does.
Mitch over there. He dayed. I think I pronounced it right. I hope I did, Alan.
But yeah, no, I mean, trust me. Whatever's happening with him, they're going to weekend at Bernie's ass until they can figure out something. Because, everybody forgets that if somebody retires post-election, pre-election, most state governors get to appoint the senators, which I honestly think we should get rid of the 17th Amendment to begin with. But then the more I think about it, I was like, but that means all the Democratic governors and Democratic houses would be sending votes.
Yeah.
But then again,
right now, Republicans have the majority, so
yeah,
I put that can change.
Well, the other thing about that is that would probably get people a lot more involved in state elections now than they are if if their legislature is the one that gets to pick the senator. So maybe we do need to get back to that.
Yeah,
because I still feel like that was one of the first steps of trying to make us a full-on democracy, was having the senators elected by state popular vote instead of being appointed. And I feel like that was one of the things that we got wrong. So I was kind of happy to see somebody actually say it out loud that they're trying to push the idea of getting rid of the 17th Amendment. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, especially not as long as we keep sending gridlock back to DC. Because the thing about it is, and this is what we keep running into, and I see it all the time, even on my side, even in my state, everybody hates Congress, but they love their particular Congress critters because they're, he's great, he's awesome. Well, they can't have an approval rating of 33%, but your guy's awesome. That's not how that works.
That's right. There's a disconnect there.
There's definitely a disconnect somewhere. But again, we've gotten to this idea, and part of it is just as bad with the Senate now, because now that they're elected by, state popular vote, they're always chasing, how do I get more dollars back into my state so people will keep voting for me? And that becomes a huge deal. And that's kind of what we're seeing happen with some of this stuff now. Because here's the dirty little secret nobody wanted to talk about with Doge. If we actually went in and cleaned out a lot of this shit that's been misappropriated, there were a lot of states that were going to go, where did our money go?
Hey, that happened to South America. Anybody look at what happened to South America recently? Once Doge appeared, once USAID was interfered with. If you look at South America, Central America, you'll see a huge portion of countries on the left of the continent go, hey, look, we're kind of conservative over here. Brazil on the right, no way. But that occurred magically, mystically, ever since the money, the spice was flowing into Central and South America. Now, kids, shit has changed. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, funny how that works. All right, so I got to talk about this. This just came out from Breaking 911 a couple hours ago. It looks like there was a pilot who did a USA 250 flight and basically took the time to fly over a certain area and actually spell out USA 250 and then did the map of the country. That's kind of awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. Another story that I saw is everybody on the left having a fit about the Trump using the new Air Force One. I'm like, it was made by Boeing. I really don't understand why y'all are having such a hard time with this concept.
Well, I can explain it. It involves Trump.
Thank you. Yep.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, everybody, oh my God, he took a plane from a foreign country and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it was a Boeing plane that they weren't even using. So it was one of, we made the damn thing.
I think you can be pretty much guaranteed that they went through every aspect and every portion and part of that plane to see if there were any devices left behind that our lovely Muzzy friends could use against us. I feel fairly assured that that plane was gone through rigorously.
Oh, they probably stripped it down to the airframe.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I mean, I would be shocked if they didn't. Like, alarmed if they didn't, but that's just me.
Ellen Ray in chat says we should have a DNR clause for elected officials. Nicely.
Yeah, yes, we need DNR clauses, and I've said this before. We need shot collars for when they're debating, so every time they're lying, we know.
Yeah, just we can't,
So
can't
I
put the
will
ones
say-
with the pacemakers though, because that'll
So
kill 'em.
yeah, I will say this. CJ Pearson put this out a little bit ago, and I guess I've never really paid attention. I had no idea the F-35 could do VTOL. That is kind of awesome. I'm watching the video. I'm probably about to put it on the screen. But CJ Pearson an hour ago said being a liberal in DC today must really suck because you have to generally pretend this isn't the coolest thing ever, and it's a video of the F-35 just kind of hovering. I'm like, I didn't even realize it could do that.
I think that's the Marine version and the Navy version can do
Probably. Yeah,
That's
I didn't figure. I know the Air Force doesn't usually use VTOL, but I didn't even know they had a variant of it at all that can do that. That's kind of cool. I was one of I remember when I actually used to play flight simulator games all the time in junior high school, and I had one for the Harrier. I thought it was so cool that it could take off and land like a helicopter, kind of.
That is
that. And
very
if you
cool.
ever listened to a Harrier, it's the loudest thing you've ever heard.
I mean, it's British; it has to be loud. So, if you ever listen to British people, they're loud. They're just saying. I mean, I had a Puerto Rican fiance, and I always thought they were loud. And then I started hanging around a couple people from Britain, and I'm like, holy shit, y'all are like 50 decibels above everybody else. Why do
Oh, damn. My co-host is going to have your head.
No, she says
Nice.
it too. She says it too. So
The accuracy is offensive.
she admits they're loud. She'll be the first one to tell you. And yeah, we've talked about that on He Said, She Said before, because my first fiance was Puerto Rican, and oh my God, that entire family was loud. It's one of the reasons why she was my first fiance and not my first wife. Anyway, so Lulu, New York Times. Oh my God!
Right, going back to the meltdowns they're having. This Lulu from the New York Times said it
We're
feels like
having
the
so many-
apocalypse.
We're having so many jets scorching over DC, nerve-wracking. I get 250 celebrations, but this feels like the apocalypse. Oh my God, really?
The apocalypse, the literal end of the world. I told her
Because
to take
she's been
Xanax.
through that already and understands what it's like.
Well, it's because to her, this is the end of the world as she knows it, because this is all about freedom, and they don't like that over there.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it.
Hey, I just noticed the foo the foo actually has a gift or a meme now for how she doesn't have to say vagina, because now it just says stop being and it has the hand sign for vagina. Interesting. For those of you that don't know, that was her shtick from a long time ago, and it's actually one of the reasons why she originally came over here. Because one, the guy that was in charge of the network that she started on, I don't think she eventually migrated to, I think she actually started on Alcon, and then she went over to We Are America Radio. I don't think they exist. I don't think either one of those really exists anymore. But yeah, so he took her time slot first because she was getting better numbers than he was, and I'm like, I would just be happy that somebody was getting those kind of numbers. I don't really care. And then at the same time, then he started saying, well, you say vagina a lot. We really need to have you stop saying that. I'm like, no, really, we don't.
Right. Like it's just a word.
It's a word for one.
And it's getting
Literally
ratings.
just a word. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if the
It
ratings
had
are working, why do you
monologues too,
care?
didn't it?
Yeah. So that was probably one of the funniest things I've read recently. Because now that Stargate's kind of back in the news, one of the writers who came over when they started writing for Sci-Fi, when they found out they were getting canceled, he would still send over show note ideas, and he wasn't getting any feedback. So the scene at the end of one of the episodes where Teal'c was hanging out in the vagina monologues, he wrote that in as a joke, and they didn't catch it, and he ran with it, and it became one of their most popular scenes ever. I thought that was funny.
That's fantastic. I love that.
I also thought it was funny because apparently they found out they were being canceled during the filming of their 200th episode. So they started writing in jokes about how poorly the network was treating them on the way out the door that a lot of
Nice.
us didn't even catch till he pointed it out. I'm like, oh, now that you've mentioned it, I can kind of see why they went that way with it. Like they would put emphasis on certain words, and if you weren't paying attention, you would miss it because it was part of their conversation. But like there was one part where he was like, I don't understand why the people in charge here don't treat you guys with this network of Stargates better than they do. But if you weren't paying attention, you missed the emphasis on the syllable, and I did till he pointed it out. I'm like, oh, that's kind of awesome. So yeah, Bunch of rebels, I tell you. It's probably why everybody still wants them to actually do that show again and not trek it up. But I think that's how I'm gonna get away from using the F word so much, because my dad still texts me every other. He's like, I can't ever listen to your shows because you cuss so much. I think I'm just gonna start saying, don't trek it up. I think I'm gonna make that a thing.
Is that it? We have to come up with
Trek you,
euphemisms
man.
now.
Trek you. I think that's gonna be my new F word, because they have definitely effed it up. But anyway, I know we got a late start, so we've got a few minutes left. I was trying to look. There haven't really been any updates. I do find it interesting that, after the left was making jokes about the DOJ trying to point out that it was sabotage at the reflecting pool, that now they have grand jury indictments. For people that they actually have been able to prove were defacing the reflecting pool. One of which happened to be an Olympian, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, the canoeist.
Yeah. I'm like, you used to represent this. You represented this country in the Olympics, and you still want to make sure we can't have nice things.
Well, he was an Olympic kayaker. Why didn't he take the kayak out there?
Right?
Drop that thing in the water and get pumping, sir. I mean, I
Right.
know it's only a foot deep, but nonetheless, you can get a paddle in there and, do some real research and get some publicity of a positive nature.
Something, anything. But yeah, I mean, if we can't have anything positive in America anymore.
No.
Patriotism is unseemly.
So so I don't really have any skin in the game as far as stories of the week. I do have a favorite story though, and this one actually just happened, because I find it amazing that we've uncorked the sun on these people 2 times, and they were celebrating our 250th birthday in Japan, like full on, like major fireworks displays. John Philip Sousa playing in the background. I'm like, this should be what's happening in America, but it's happening in Japan. The hell.
Right. I love the Japanese. God bless the Japanese. They are incredible people.
Well, they're
But
fighting
meanwhile,
the same
we've got
thing we
states
are.
or cities that are saying they're going to either ban fireworks or they're not going to let people shoot their own fireworks off.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I live in an unincorporated area, because the city can suck it.
Right.
Because,
All I
we-
say is they're
we-
undocumented ordinance and
Right,
fireworks.
Right.
They
No,
belong in this country.
no ordinance is illegal.
They're
This
just
is
blowing
an
up the crap that
undocumented
Americans
ordinance.
won't.
But it's just, I don't know. I mean, I saw this thing because I guess tomorrow night, I think usually the display in DC is like 20,000 fireworks, which is a lot. Trump is apparently planning to do 4 times that much. So people were putting out air quality warnings.
Yep.
That many fireworks is going to be hard for people with asthma to breathe. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
the
blah.
Washington Post put out a scoop because I wrote about this. Very unhealthy conditions across central DC. Where were these stories in 2022, 2024, even last year? No, they have to shit on the 250th because they want it to fail. They want America to fail.
2 words. Fuck off.
Right.
Well, you'll appreciate this, Amy. I had us lose one of our VIP gold subscribers this morning because I was pro fireworks.
Oh man, that's rough. Seriously, like, okay,
I'm
Wait,
going to get
what?
called into HR after the holiday, I'm sure. But
right? They're gonna yell at you for losing one.
We thought you made us lose a subscribe, dude. Yeah, trust me.
well, they
There's-
kept bringing up
there's a reason.
Twitchy. I'm canceling my Twitchy subscription. It's like, well, I promise you, I won't be writing there anymore. Where I don't write.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's a reason they don't let me do VIP. Sorry. Anyway.
These people are just miserable, and they want everybody else to be miserable along with them. Don't be miserable. Choose to be happy.
I mean, that's just it. And I said this like several times on today's show. I was like, I don't even care if you're on my side of the argument on most of the things that I talk about on my show. Take one day tomorrow and put down your preferred banner and pick up the fucking flag and run
Yep.
with it. Dude. That's it. That's it.
Yep, that's
That's-
all you gotta do.
That's
One
what
day.
tomorrow. That's what tomorrow's about. It's about America. It's not
Mhm.
about all the BS. It's not about how, according to the left, America was founded in slavery and this, that, and the other. Look, our
Mhm.
founding fathers were having a fight about slavery when they put together the Constitution, but they realized that if they didn't make a compromise, we weren't going to have a country. So that's why they came up with the 3/5 compromise. And everybody who this has all been taught so poorly in schools, if it's even taught at all anymore, that everybody sees it as oppression. It wasn't, though. If they didn't have that in there, the South would probably still be in charge today. And we'd still have slavery.
And the word slavery was intentionally not included in the documents.
Yep.
So that they don't codify it.
Yep.
But that's racist, apparently, somehow.
But I mean, but the same party that, the party of slavery, the party of, in baked in racism is now importing new population centers to new places. And the president's like, we don't need these illegals counted in our census because that gives you too much power. Well, that's not right. No, it is right. If you want to count them in your local numbers for your school purposes, shit like that, that's fine. But they shouldn't be counted in any. They can't vote in federal elections legally, so they shouldn't be counted towards federal numbers.
Yep.
You need them counted for like school districts, things like that. That's fine. That's a city thing. That's a state thing. I don't care. That's a fight you have within your own borders there. But as far as counting towards federal apportionment, hell no. There's no reason anybody that's illegal should be counted to. I don't even care if they're here on a guest visa or on an actual visa. They shouldn't count unless they are legally Americans. Period.
No,
because that's the only way we can still have people with skin in the game actually voting. We took the rest of it out because it was too oppressive to say that only property holders could vote. You know what? Property holders are the ones with skin in the game. Renters don't give a fuck. I mean, as somebody who owns a house, one of the first things I want to do is get rid of property taxes at least once your note's paid for. Look, if you're going to make me pay taxes while I'm paying for something, that's one thing. I'm used to that. But don't tell me that I have to then lease my land from the county government for the rest of my fucking life.
Right.
That's not ownership. That's a lease. It's not the same thing. I don't own anything. I may own I technically own the house, but you can take it away from me the second I miss a tax payment. That's not ownership. That's leasing.
Come on. You will own nothing and be happy.
Well, I'm loving the argument that goes on here in Florida because Mamdani has got his budget for a city that exceeds the budget of our entire state, despite us having vastly more population. And our governor is on the verge of trying to get rid of property taxes because we're operating with a surplus like that. And people are losing their mind over that. Like you're in favor of taxation on property you own already and have paid. That's your argument. I mean, it's hilarious to watch the dichotomy playing out, and yet it is.
Well, that's another thing that I love getting into arguments about because I love the people on social media that are like, well, the red states are poorer than the blue states. Are they though? Are they really? Let's talk about salt taxes.
Right.
Well, they base that on who receives the what amount of federal funding, and when they do that, they don't want to acknowledge how much of that federal funding is on military bases and things of that nature. They just assume it's all Medicare and food stamps. So that even that argument falls apart.
Right.
Well, of course, you start throwing around some data and, nothing.
I know. I get offensive with my facts.
Well, of course, facts are always offensive to liberals, sir. So I have to ask, what specifically was it that, because I know you'd mentioned it kind of cursory, but as we get ready to start wrapping things up, what was it specifically you were talking about today that had somebody threaten to get rid of their gold subscription?
It was just about having citizens shooting off their own fireworks, and this guy was insisting that the smoke and the sulfur lingers in the air for days or such. And I said, well, we normally blast off enough to get spotted on a satellite each year, and we clean up, and the next morning you don't smell a whiff of smoke. And he's saying, and I've had to close my windows, and my wife's breathing was affected, and this and that. Well, then stay inside and don't celebrate. What do you want me to say? It's America. We're allowed to do this. Yeah. I'm a VIP member, and you're on the verge of getting me canceled. And then told me to pull my head out of my ass.
Somebody pissed in his cornflakes this morning. Good Lord.
Tough shit. Stay inside.
My neighborhood tonight will sound like Fallujah. Yeah. You know what I do? I close my windows, put my white noise machine on, go to bed. Have fun, guys. Don't lose a limb. See you in the morning.
Dude,
Well, what set the guy off really was he told me to come out to where he lives and smell the smoke the next day. And I said, it's going to be really tough to do if my head is up my ass. That's it. Cancellation. I'm content. He's, tagging Town Hall and Twitchy Team and everybody else. I'll cancel my VIP now. I want a subscription refund. And because I'm pro fireworks. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. He'll get over himself. But no, I mean, seriously, as far as, your neighborhood sounding like Fallujah, I live in the country, dude. Like starting tonight, there will be people shooting off. Actually, it's not even always fireworks. All of my neighbors, including, all of my guns disappeared in a tragic boating accident, as far as anybody knows. But all my neighbors have AR-15s. They will start shooting them off. Actually started last night.
Nice.
Just, setting up, targets and just shooting the shit out of guns because it's allowed and it's America. And yeah, it happens every year. And like tomorrow night we have probably normally my rule was when we always did it here, we always did ours the week after because then we could get like double the fireworks for the same price. But I guess this year, since it's on a Saturday, they've decided they're actually doing the 4th on the 4th now that my son does it and on his property. But I guarantee you there will probably be $3,000-$4,000 worth of fireworks set off tomorrow.
Oh, easily.
As is proper.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dude around here that has a 105.
Nice.
And he cooks off every year that I've been here.
You should be partying at that house. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I could find it, obviously. It's just fun to listen to. Not good for concealed carry, though.
You just got the John Adams quote that basically mandates we go out there and create all kinds of explosions and cacophony on celebration of the country. So I'm going to take it from him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a euphonious wail.
Yeah. But no, I mean, and look, before we start closing things out, I'm going to say this one more time. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. If you're a commie, you're probably not listening to us. But if you are listening to us, maybe we can eventually get your attention. But for the normal folks, the normies, as I heard a Democrat operative say today that they needed the Democrat normies to start going out and voting again. For the normies in America, put down your banner for just one day and celebrate the country. This isn't about Donald Trump. This is about America. America will be here long after Trump is not in office anymore. And I still honestly think this is a mistake that the left is making in between embracing socialism openly and out of the closet now and still making everything about Trump for the midterms. Everybody that even likes Trump realizes he's gone in 2 years, 2.5. So making it about Trump is dumb in my opinion, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. But I mean, I will say this, all the commies starting to win has made this a jump ball in a lot of places again. And everybody thought it wasn't going to be. So I guess we'll see. But again, for tonight and for tomorrow night, none of that matters. Put it all down for a day. Enjoy the country. Enjoy the time with your family. Enjoy remembering that you live in the greatest country on earth. And as Donald Trump often says, currently the hottest nation on earth. I wish he'd stop saying that until at least October, though, because it seems like Mother Nature took that as a challenge. Hey. Just saying. All right. So I'm going to start going around the table. We'll start with BZ. Where do you have anything that you've covered this week that you want to put a spotlight on? Tell folks where they can find you, that kind of stuff.
Yes, I have an amount of what I consider to be Herculean hypocrisy. I'm looking at a story from Gizmodo, and it says Energy Department wants data centers to stop draining the grid during brutal heat wave. Well, it turns out that this company called PJM, which is apparently the grid operator for DC and a bunch of other states, like 12 or 13 states, they want data centers and big customers to use their own backup power at this point because of the, quote, brutal heat wave that hits much of the central and eastern United States this week. Okay, well, if we can't power what we have now, and you're going to build more data centers because they're not stopping, and you want to add EVs to this, make the slightest infinitesimal portion of this make sense. None of it, NUNNAVIT, none of it makes sense. This is this is Herculean hypocrisy and stupidity. Okay, that's my shot. I'm BZ of BZ's Berserk Bobcats Lunar Radio Show, Tuesday and Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern, where I am your conservative Sherpa, and I'm railing against leftist and globalist lies and deceit and hypocrisy and betrayal like that there. Thanks for having me on today, sir.
Not a problem, sir. And Amy, how about you?
My favorite story of the week is from my own backyard. We have a candidate running for Congress here named Katrina DeVille, complete with the white and black hair. He is trans, and one of his staffers, a man who also is trans, named Teja Della Ruel, I think that's how you pronounce it, posted numerous videos on social media calling to engage in trans jihad and kill your local Republican.
Sure. Why
So,
not?
once again, violence is coming from the trans side. But tell me, leftists who have been melting down all week about the Supreme Court ruling, why I'm supposed to let these men in my safe spaces. Why I'm supposed to just pretend they're women, get naked in front of them, and not have any questions about it at all. They are violent. They are dangerous. Apparently, Teja was fired from the DeVille campaign, which is the minimum that can happen to him. But that's the state of Wisconsin politics right now. Oh, and by the way, at least at the time that he was posting these videos, Francesca Hong, who is the Democratic Socialist running for governor here and is the leader in the Democratic primary right now, followed Teja on social media. I looked to verify that when I wrote my story yesterday. Seems like somebody on Hong's team quietly clicked the unfollow button because I couldn't find proof of that, despite screenshots. So that's where we are in Wisconsin. That's what the leading Democrat for the state, the next governor, supports. I think Wisconsin voters would want to know that she's fine with killing your local Republican.
Nice.
And if you
So
know,
so I was just thinking, yeah, and it finally occurred to me. Like, I have a sound effect for, like, regular jihad, and it's this one.
Oh, durka.
But I was trying to think of what we could use for trans jihad, and then it dawned on me. It'd be durka, okay. I need to figure out a way to get that recorded.
there's got to be a way AI can make that happen. But yeah, that's my story of the week. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that over at Town Hall because I have a feeling we haven't heard the end of this heading into the season. So you can, like I said, find me at Town Hall. I'm back to writing insane numbers of stories like I have been before. I was going on Egypt. Yay. Yeah, the other day I wrote 25 of them.
A day? In one day?
In one day, yes. I don't know where the energy came from, given that I've been sicker than a dog whenever I eat, but I did it. So we're back to normal. Find me at Town Hall. Find me on Twitter at Ranty Amy Curtis. And then here on Fridays when I'm free and available. And that looks like for the foreseeable future, I will be here. So thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This is always so much fun.
So only because I can't not say it. Normal is relative, ma'am.
Oh yeah. I'm
saying.
Yeah, my normal is still weird, and I know that, and I embrace it.
And Brad, what do you got for us?
I'm going to, I'll tease out. I've covered today how over at Sony PlayStation Store, they announced this week, they're just going to arbitrarily erase 500 movies from people's libraries because of licensing. So if you bought a movie on their likelihood, it's going away because you don't own anything anymore if it's digital. But the one that really fascinates me this week has been the complete foobar they had over at NPR with Nita Totenberg coming out and announcing that Samuel Alito was retiring. Oh, wait a second, he's not. And
yeah, that was interesting.
The comedy of this is that she came out and said, "Oh, this was a rookie mistake that I made." Who's been in the business for 50 years.
Right. Do you want to hear my theory on that real quick? And actually, I can't take credit for this. It was the boyfriend that said this. He thinks Alito was trying to see who's been leaking stuff. And this was the story that did it. Because none of Totenberg's excuses make sense.
I said as much. I thought he was a canary trap and I think he probably fed it to some other justice, Kagan or Sotomayor, is my thought.
And
the reason that she's not, doing more and say, it's all my fault. It's because she doesn't want to burn her contact who's the justice. But what I found most revealing is what came out of NPR itself regarding this. Their explanation was, it makes sense of this if you can, because I can't. They said that something that they instituted in 2024 is called the editorial backstop, which is an extra layer of editing to prevent bad stories from getting out, which happened. And then they go on to say, well, the article didn't go through that after all because Nina said it was an announcement and therefore we just published it. It's like,
Right. Okay, whatever.
you have an extra layer to prevent the very thing from happening that happened, and it was because you couldn't verify the most basic of information sourcing, which is, did they ever say it? No, they didn't. Then you don't run the story, and yet they did, which she doesn't make sense. The editors don't make sense, and everybody's in the media trying to apologize for them. Oh, honest mistake.
Right. This is what serious journalists do when they mess up. Okay.
Well, yeah, I've had people actually say they trust NPR more now because they came out and took it down immediately and fessed up to it. It's like, well, they screwed up royal. You don't trust somebody that does that.
Right. And if this was a one-off, maybe, but remember, they were the ones that said, we're not publishing the Hunter Biden laptop story because that's a bunch of bull. Okay. Serious journalists. Sure.
Yeah, and when they actually reported on that, it was they didn't come out and do a report on the laptop. It was an editor's note on a book review.
Mm-hmm.
We've since come to understand it's legitimate at the bottom of a book review.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been defunded.
Yes, they should have been.
Yeah. I have a friend who's an actual, full-time broadcaster who almost got axed because of that whole defund NPR thing. So I don't know, but because he works for the local PBS here, and he thought he was going to lose his gig. So I was like, I kind of feel your pain, but at the same time, I don't.
Right.
Well,
anyway,
you know what? I've never heard it explained in a proper fashion why NPR can't go the advertising route.
Because nobody listens to it, they wouldn't get advertisers.
I mean, there you go. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I think they may have less listeners than PMS now has viewers.
But I mean, their very people say all the time, it's like, we're still operating because we got support. We're getting as many donations as ever, if not more. It's like, well, great. That's what we wanted.
Right.
So what's the problem?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get it either. Like, I don't understand why, like PBS itself, has some of the most marketable material ever. You're telling me you guys don't get any of the profits from Sesame Street toys and shit? I find that really hard to believe.
Well, they don't because they don't own it any longer.
Well, they did. That was their own fault.
Yeah. But like 10 years ago, it went to HBO Max, and now it's owned by Netflix. So they're not getting any of that. But yeah, Sesame Street's been putting out licensed products for years. Elmo toys and everything else. Why is that a bad thing?
I mean, well, that was their own mistake. Even if you're going to sell something off like that, you at least retain some of the licensing rights for the merchandise and shit. Say, like, yeah, you can have the concept, but we still want 10% of whatever the take is on the merchandise.
Right.
That should have been a thing, but that's their own fault. But anyway, we probably need to get out of here because we're long anyway. All right. So, Brad, again, I know we did your story part, but I don't think we did the where can folks find you thing yet. Yours takes some.
Along with Amy, you can see me over at townhall.com with my daily media column there, although not today because we're off, but also at the front page of Red State. And there I've got a twice weekly podcast covering the press called Liable Sources. And right here, KLRN. Thursday nights, I'm doing entertainment either with Orty Packard or Paul Young, as we do either news on the entertainment or bad films like last night. And then Tuesday nights with Aggie Rican on the Cocktail Lounge, which is our fun news and sports and drinking show to distract from the mayhem. And then over on Jitter, I'm at Martini Shark, usually giving grief to journalists and getting VIP subscribers to quit.
It's a gift, man. It's a gift. I have seen some of those exchanges with journals on your feed, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even wading into the middle of that crazy. I thought about it a couple times. I'm like, yeah, nope, not doing it. All right. So as far as for me, I am off again until Monday. Well, actually, Sunday if the voice holds. Should do another Kingdom and Country because it's been a minute, and then but that'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern. Other than and then tonight, I think Aggie and I are doing a show tonight. I need to check because it's pre-4th, and she may have some stuff going on because I know she did last week. I don't know if she does this week, but pending update, there hopefully will be a He Said She Said tonight. And then that'll be it for me. You can find me on X at RowdyVic73. You can follow along with everything we do here at KLRN Radio. At KLRN Radio works on X, Facebook, and YouTube. When we broadcast to YouTube, you can also find my personal YouTube channel, which sometimes I broadcast over there, even if I don't to the network, and that's Rowdy Rick Robinson over there. And then on Rumble, because for some reason they didn't let me use at KLRN Radio for the channel when I built it. You can find us over there at America's Podcast Network. That's how we're listed over there. We actually have more followers on Rumble than we have on YouTube, which is weird because I've been trying to focus on YouTube and haven't really been paying any attention to Rumble, and we're still growing like crazy over there. But anyway, so that's going to do it for this one for today. And again, hopefully there'll be a He Said, She Said tonight once I touch base with my lovely co-host, who is probably going to machete me for what I said about Puerto Ricans earlier today, but it's worth it. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, folks. Thank you for those of you that chose to hang out with us today. I know a lot of you were either off or getting ready for holiday stuff. So it means a lot because I expected much lower numbers than I had on both shows. And they weren't bad, especially since I pulled them from YouTube for the day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
USA.